Have you ever wanted to say things like, I'm just so tired, but I can't fall apart because other people need me? Or everyone thinks I am so strong, but I don't even know how much longer I can do this. Or I am the one who holds everything together. I'm the one that holds space for everyone else, but no one does that for me. So if those sound like words that no one ever hears from you, but it's what you feel inside, this video is for you. Those are the words that you might even just say privately to yourself into your pillow at night or cursing under your breath, or you feel them deep in your body somewhere, but you try to outrun them by staying busy or doing events or going to dinners or entertaining people, or you try to stay busy just doing anything but sitting with what you're feeling. So you're the one that everyone turns to for wisdom and comfort, yet you're the one that's carrying all of the weight of that alone. You've mastered the art of appearances and appearing grounded, like everything's good, everything's all put together, but then your nervous system is literally frazzled and fried, and you are in overdrive perpetually. You show up unfailingly, you hold it all down, you stay regulated for other people, but when it comes to yourself, you haven't even let yourself exhale for months. You're holding all of that inside of you, or maybe even years. If that's you, listen very carefully because I'm going to break down all of this through my experience working with hundreds of clients and also my own personal experiences and seeing this play out again and again. I want you to know first, you are not, nothing's wrong with you. You are just getting tired of this performative strength and never getting to be held in that same energy that you hold others in, that you give to others day in and day out. The reason I'm making this video is because a colleague of mine reached out the other day and she said she loves helping others, but she's just longing for a space for herself to really feel held in and where she could actually be the one falling apart for once. And that is the dilemma and the pain of being the emotional caretaker. You get exhausted from always being the strong one who holds it all together that nobody checks on. There's this invisible burden that you take on from trying to hold everything together all the time and being everything to everyone. My colleague and I got into a really deep conversation, and she told me, you know what, Derek, I am beyond tired at this point. I am emotionally overextending myself. It feels so weird to admit this out loud. And I'm so grateful to her for trusting me with that and also agreeing that this would help others to share that with you. She told me this has been happening to her for years at this point. In her childhood, even, she was the one who was always reading the room before she could even put that into words. I can so relate to this myself. And I think many of us in these healing art roles can relate for sure, or just people that are empathic. I remember my childhood was like that as well. And when this happens, you become so hyper attuned to other people because you are constantly subconsciously scanning for the shifts in mood, the slight shifts in tone or energy, like you pick it all up. And not because you wanted to, but because you had to do that to survive. You became the one who kept the peace for everyone, the one who fixed everything, who made everything okay, so no one would get upset, no one would blow up or fall apart. For me, that was my biological mother. In doing all of that, what happens is your nervous system wires itself around other people's emotions. Now, as an adult, my colleague found herself struggling to find even what her own center even felt like because her body had become so used to and so attuned and trained to prioritize everyone else's center. Now, that is not a flaw in her character. That is literally a very brilliant and intricate computer program that is your subconscious, that is your nervous system. It's literally a brilliant adaptation of the human nervous system. Shows you how much it can do. It kept you safe for so long. However, as safe and small as it kept you, that's not sustainable because your soul is expanding and your soul has bigger plans than that, quite frankly. And you can't do that when you're so identified with everyone else's comfort and everyone else's center. You are not broken and something's not wrong with you. You're just getting burnt out from a lifetime of this emotional overfunctioning. Self reliance becomes the code that you live by when that happens. Not because it feels like the empowering thing to do, but because at some point, whether that was in this life or a past life, that was your only option. Somewhere along the way, you learned that if you needed other people, that made you vulnerable. That made you subject to attack or a consequence in some way. So you learned to stop asking for help at that point. You stopped expecting anything from anyone. And you took on all of that. You took it all on yourself, believing that if you are not holding it all together, well, then everything's going to fall apart, including you. That's the fear. That's not the truth. Now, even when you are sick as all get out of doing this stuff and being constantly hyper vigilant of other people's experience and not your own, you feel like you're drowning. And you just smile and say, "Oh, I'm fine," because that's become the default. You never stop spinning in your mind. Your chest is always feeling heavy or suffocating or restricted. And the silence of your own suffering is absolutely deafening. Of course, you fantasize about having support and having someone help you, having someone hold space for you. But the thought of actually taking that support and taking that hand that was extended out to you is totally not natural. It seems like so foreign and so unusual that it feels actually dangerous to your body. And then you just keep suffering in silence and keep distracting yourself by holding space for everyone else. And then you abandon yourself and you're terrified what would even happen if you did let your guard down enough for someone to actually hold space for you. So you know that something is not right because you still are feeling that inner tension or resistance in so many areas of your life. That is your emotional guidance system showing you that you're out of alignment. So maybe this has led you to try all of the things. Like you've done the journaling, you've done the breath work, the Reiki, the therapy sessions, hypnotherapy, massages, coursework. You've read all the books about it, but none of it actually seems to touch the depths of you and what is really there. And late at night, you still feel that deep, deep buzzing exhaustion where you're so worn out and all you want to do is rest, but your nervous system is just hyped the fuck up. And it's all still under your skin at all moments. It's always subtly there. That's because you're trying to heal while still having your nervous system be stuck in red alert mode. Merely talking about how burnt out you are is not actually going to shift anything. Meditation doesn't undo all of the years of hypervigilance. Ask me how I know that is coded into you. And I see this so often in circles of people that like to help others in heart centered places and circles of healers. And there are so many healers who are in that role of caretaker. Yet I know because I've been through this in my own life and helped so many people with healing this that even though they're helping so many people, they are drowning in themselves. Yet they're always the first one to raise their hand and help other people. The truth of all of this is that traditional approaches and a lot of holistic approaches are just barely scratching the surface. And they are not actually reaching the depths of the subconscious or the patterns and imprints that are keeping you wired for over functioning in every area of life. And you absolutely do not need more information. You need an actual shift in how your nervous system experiences feeling safe. And becoming to the knowing that you know you're safe even when you're receiving help for you. Being able to truly surrender to all of life and let life be life. So, what do you actually need? I'll give you another hint here. It's not another mindset shift or free PDF from some coach. Let's be really real. You need to actually have repair happen on the deepest levels. Deep cellular identity shift. Identity level healing that lets your system finally exhale and go, "Oh," like letting it go, but fully. And you might need to find a safe, sacred space that is yours to fall the F apart in. For that to be okay without any judgment. You need somewhere that you don't need to hold it all together and you don't need to fix yourself, where you can just be witness in your experience, in your wholeness, in your rawness, and in the realness of who you actually are. And maybe what you need is to be held so lovingly and so very gently as you're remembering the you that you really are underneath all of this over functioning, the you that you were long before you had to become so strong and hold it all together all of the time. When you're at this place, that next level of healing is not about becoming more resilient even more. It's actually not about taking on more. Absolutely not. It's about learning that being soft and fragile and human is not only totally okay, but it's safe, that it's normal, that you're right on time on your journey. In my colleague's case, our conversation brought her to a really big breakthrough. And she was celebrating in my office because she was like, oh my gosh, I get it now. I don't have to earn my peace from how much I produce in the world or how much I perform. Yes. And when she said that, it reminded me of the first time that I ever realized that self worth is not equal to how much I could accomplish. That was a huge aha for me. That was mind blowing for me at the time because I had lived in that programming for so long, like, oh, I can't enjoy my weekend unless all my laundry's done and all the dishes are perfectly done and the floor's vacuumed. And so even my time off was characterized by that over functioning, like I had to be working or else I wasn't worth a damn. But now I see how that's not connected, and my nervous system feels the untruth of that. I think I was like 30 by the time I realized that. So I work with a lot of people around things like this. That is really my specialty area in the healing arts, is working with those people who are the silent anchors, so to speak, in their lives. And they carry everyone else, but they don't really feel truly carried or held themselves. Sometimes in no areas of their life, sometimes maybe they have one area of their life where maybe their spouse doesn't hold them to that, but they're carrying all that at work or vice versa. But these patterns play out in so many ways. And I work with those sensitive, intuitive souls that are smiling on the outside more often than not, but then on the inside, they're really struggling and they're really collapsing deep down. I also know how that feels myself, to have the pain of being seen as strong on the exterior, yet secretly just wishing that someone would care how you're doing, just longing to be held yourself in your realness. And that's exactly why my work does go to the depths that it does. It goes far beyond mindset work or talk. This is a deep rewiring of your whole energy field, your nervous system. And this is where all of the unraveling begins, and where your body is learning the safety of stopping that performance, of being strong when you literally just don't have the bandwidth, or even you don't even want to anymore. That's where the real you gets to come out and play and feel the sun and the breeze against your skin, to really begin to live and breathe again. So if you're ready to stop holding everything together alone, and you want to do the work to figure this out once and for all, and you would like to work together in a professional sense, you know where to find me. Reach out. And to ground this into your physical reality right now, that you're ready to start shifting this, write down in the comments below, I am ready to let go. And declare that to the entire physical reality and the entire universe. Okay, so subscribe if you want, like the video if you want, and leave me a comment, share with a friend, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.